Beyond Synth 391.
It's the Marko and Andy Power Hour. With Andy Lass.
So did you fuck a bear?
And Marko Marek.
No, I haven't had sex with a bear. No.
All right, well, it's the Marko and Andy Power Hour. That's right. I'm Andy. I'm here with Marko. It's a brand new year, 2024. How are you, Marko?
I'm doing good. I'm just glad you didn't want me to introduce the segment this time.
Well, that's what I said. I told the viewers, I told the listeners in the season premiere, my episode with Lifelike, that this season is the no frills season of Beyond Synth. And so,
look out.
No more frills. So I'm not going to start the show with confusing you or making you do anything you don't want to do. We're just going to get right to the action.
All right. No more cheap gimmicks. No more bullshit. Just straight to it, huh?
That's exactly right. Now what's going to follow is like an hour and a half of bullshit because...
Bullshit, yeah.
All the stuff. I have a lot of dumb things to say.
I know. We haven't spoken in a while, so it has been quite some time.
Yeah, because like the first few interviews that are going to be part of this season, like the Lifelike one from last week and the ones that are coming up, those are all recorded in like December because I thought I was going to put them out in December, and then the Andy's Playlist Warehouse episodes got way out of control. I thought I was going to have like 10-minute chats with my listeners and like patrons and stuff. I ended up talking to all of them for like an hour each. Damn. And so when it came time to edit those, it became a 7-episode series, right? And then like catching up with Mike again, that was like an episode and a half. Like it was just so much shit. So my point is that you and I, this is not something we recorded in December. We're recording this in February. This is new stuff. We actually haven't recorded with each other for
a few months at least.
Jesus Christ. It's been since November.
Yeah, I know. I thought I was on the out. I thought you had enough of me, and you finally realized that I'm really not that interesting, that there's better people you could have on the show. And I was like, fair enough. I knew it was coming. It is what it is.
Listen, man, there's no one better to have than you. My pal Marko. I know you always say that, but it's like, how many years can you say? It's not like it's like that person who is always predicting bad things to happen, and then when they do, they're like, I told you. I'm like, but does it count if for like 50 years you're always talking to me about like something's gonna blow up, and then when it finally does, you're like, I told you so? I'm like, I don't think you're allowed to say that for 50 years, and then a bad thing happens.
Eventually it's gonna happen. Yeah, eventually something's gonna stop, so it can't go on forever. And then I'll be like, when that happens, I'll be, Andy, see, I fucking told you, mate.
Like season like 28 of Beyond Synth.
No, I don't mean to be a negativo, it's just whatever. I guess I'm modest and realistic in some ways, but I'm not like a constantly gloom and doom person either. It's actually kind of turned into more of a joke than anything, really.
Yes. Well, the bottom line is this.
Yes.
I take it deadly seriously. No, but you're obviously it's all good, right? It's nice to chat with you. So we do have to catch up. We got a lot of stuff to catch up on.
We do.
I've got some ball school updates.
I got to hear this. Come on.
But we'll save those for later.
You know how much I like the balls.
We'll save those for later. But
all right, later.
Yeah, well, how about this? I'm going to play a song. Actually, you know what? You play a song, and then I'll...
You want me to play a song?
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's an artist that he's been around for a little while, but I've really been getting into lately. It's TIMECODE 88. He's got some really good tracks out there. He's not on Bandcamp, and I'm not even 100% sure he's on Spotify either, but it's all on SoundCloud as far as I can see. And one of the tracks, actually, he's got a number of tracks that I really like, but one that stood out to me, and the track I'm talking about is TCR 51451. Is that how you pronounce it, you think?
I guess. Yeah,
51451.
TCR 51451. That's what I would say.
Yeah, that's what I said. All right, that'll do.
That'll do, pig. All right, well, let's listen to it. This is TCR 51451 by TIMECODE 88. All right, and that was Timecode 88 with the track TCR 51451. And I'm here right now with Marko on the Beyond Synth Marko and Andy Power Hour. And we're catching up. So how was Christmas and all that stuff?
Christmas was really, really nice. I ate a lot of food, put on weight, usual stuff, I guess. Yeah, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I've been working a lot, so I've been pretty busy, a little short on staff at work. But when I can, I have been playing video games. I have got into Baldurs Gate, which is really good. I've been playing that with my wife. We're enjoying it. It's really fun, yeah. It's a massive download, though. It was fucking like 135 gig or something ridiculous, but it's well worth playing, yeah. Especially if you don't mind a little bit of turn-based combat, then it's really good.
Okay, so I gotta ask, because I ask everybody who plays this game. So did you fuck a bear?
No, I haven't had sex with a bear. No. But we do love the aspect of being able to turn into animals and being able to talk to animals. It's really cool, actually. I mean, it's hard to explain until you do it. Some of the stuff is really quite interesting and touching. It's just a little different. But no sex with a bear yet. My wife keeps telling me it's going to happen, so I'm scared.
You know what actually interests me the most about that game? Because I'm still hesitant.
Yeah.
I am making this year about playing my back catalog and about retro gaming. I can tell you about my arcade machine I'm building and the fucking nonsense list of problems. Do other people, do things just work for them, the first try, when it comes to these sorts of projects?
It seems that way.
Because, oh my God, my life is going to nerd forums and then 10 steps down. I'm always the guy where, every step of the procedure doesn't go the way that they say it's going to go in the fucking tutorial.
Yeah.
You know, where it's well, first you want to download this program, and then you're going to want to press the red button, and then you download the program. Oh, I don't have a red button on my... Button. Yeah, so on a forum. How do you use this program if there's no red button? Oh, if there's no red button, then you're going to want to go into your task manager and you're going to want to type in .cmd/whatever. So then you go to do that. Oh, how come my task manager doesn't come up? No. Oh, if you're using this version of Windows and the task manager no longer exists, you have to use this program. Okay, cool. It'll be in this folder. You go there. It's not there. What to do when that fucking program isn't in that folder? If that program's not in that folder, then and it just... That's my life. It's every single step is a problem. So I'm building an arcade machine. I was going to use my Pandora's box. I probably told you all about this. I bought a retro shooter, which is the 2 guns. It comes with a Pandora's box preloaded, ready to go.
Nice. You
plug in an HDMI, you put the little sensor lights on your TV, and it's plug and play. Yep. But, arcade enthusiasts don't love Pandora's box because, they are plug and play and ready to go, but you lose a lot of the customization options, and they're not very powerful.
Okay.
So some of the 3D games, when you do the Dreamcast 3D games, they're sort of displaying in their native resolution and stuff like that.
Oh.
But it works, right? So I built the frame of the arcade machine. I bought some buttons off Amazon and I drilled the holes and I actually did the fucking joystick with the buttons and all that shit. And... Dun, 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 the buttons I bought aren't compatible with the fucking Pandora's box machine. It doesn't recognize the joysticks.
Oh, fuck's sake.
So I'm okay, I got a choice here. I either have to pay some money to buy some better joysticks or different joysticks, or buy a mini computer, like a B-Link, and maybe I'll just make that the operating system of this arcade machine, like a mini computer. If I get a mini computer, it recognizes these fucking joysticks, and then I'll just install my own front end and system and all that stuff. So I do that. I get the B-Link. I'm following this tutorial on YouTube. They're like, hey, put in another hard drive and you're going to make it boot directly into Linux. I'm using this operating system called Baldocaster, which then you can load arcade games into it. It has a nice front end, all that stuff. So of course, I install my hard drive. Windows is oh, there's your hard drive. Format it. Yeah. I go into the BIOS so that this computer will automatically boot into the hard drive, and it doesn't see the hard drive.
It doesn't see it?
It's not even in the list of hard drives to pick from, even though Windows showed it to me. So then I'm on fucking for a day and all these videos, what to do when your hard drive doesn't show up in the fucking BIOS menu. Anyway, I do all that stuff.
Push the red button.
Yeah, and it's been like that. It recognized the controller. So I'm okay, well that's a good thing, but then I'm having problem because now I have to install all the games myself, and of course now there's all these compatibility issues and I'm using the wrong emulators and this crap. But then I discovered another fun thing. which is the Baldocaster operating system, which is good. And there's a lot of things that are good about it. It doesn't like it when two controllers are plugged in that are the same brand.
Oh, God.
So it only recognizes the player one arcade stick.
That's so frustrating. Oh, my God. You can't even make this shit up.
So now what do? Now I gotta buy, I guess, another control board for the player two arcade stick. But then I'm like, what if that control board ends up working with the Pandora's box? Because then I'm like, should I then just do the Pandora's box? But the thing was, the reason why I wanted to do this was because when I went to play Mortal Kombat on the Pandora's box, it looked like shit.
Yeah.
Like it's got that weird filter on it. Okay. I didn't like the way it looked. I didn't like the way it sounded. I'm like, well, look, if I'm turning this thing into an arcade machine, obviously Mortal Kombat is my priority, right? I mean, I want the trilogy on there and I want them to play properly. So that's what inspired me really to get the little computer. So now I'm like, I gotta buy another fucking control board for the player two stick.
Man, PCs are frustrating, like in general.
I know.
Like I play more now on the PC just because it's a better range of games. It's easier for chatting. I like PC, okay. So I never really liked Xbox, even though I've had Xboxes before, but like just the little shit with the PCs drives you nuts. Like a console's just so much easier because you don't have to worry about half of this bullcrap. But like, for example, I like to use a PlayStation controller when I'm playing on the PC. It's just my favorite controller.
Yeah.
I don't like Xbox controllers. I don't like Microsoft shit, okay? So it's just a nightmare. Like some games will work, some games won't. I've had to have programs I downloaded, and like you said, you got to go through a 20-step process to get it to work. Then it works on everything, and then there's an update on Windows, and then nothing works, and then it's just one thing after another, and then it'll work on Steam. I can use my PlayStation controller on Steam, but then I can't use it through Epic. I just can't get it to work for whatever reason through another gaming launcher. So it's frustrating. PCs can be really annoying sometimes, just trying to get everything to work. It's usually just little things, but I don't know. Yeah, that shit drives you nuts, man.
Oh, dude, it's frustrating, but it's also, when everything works, it's fine. But then I'm going to do all this work, and then I'm going to use the arcade machine like 10 minutes every month after like 2 years of getting this shit to work. Oh, look, I just realized we just talked for way too long. So let's listen to a song, and then we'll keep chatting. I want to play this one from Rogue VHS. This is a fun pop song. This is Me and You.
Baby, it's me and you.
And that was Me and You by Rogue VHS. And I'm here with Marko right now, the Marko and Andy Power Hour. We're talking about the frustrations of computers. I would like to say that all things Beyond Synth are brought to you by my awesome Patreon supporters and the Knights of Synth, the kings of the Patreon, keep the lights on in the Beyond Synth studio. And so I would like to just remind everybody about the cool people like Mike Shima, Mike Erdahl, Tiber83, Brandon Decker, Timothy Carlton. Okay, you guys are all awesome, and so is Randy. That's right, Randy's a cool guy too. And Dinner Dog and Hugh Hefner.
Yeah, I like Randy. No, he is. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, so that's what's been going on over here. So I've been trying to do this arcade build, frustration all over the place. But I did yesterday. I got things working. I was having problems because I could load Mortal Kombat 1 and 2 and not Mortal Kombat 3. And then it turned out if I go into the sub menu, some of those arcade games just need to be loaded with a different emulator.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like, oh, I have to load this one with fucking Libretto MAME 1.3, but then this ROM needs to be opened with MAME 7.68 or whatever, you know, like all that crap. I will say though, for retro machines, these little mini PCs are actually pretty good. I bought the cheapest one I could get.
What are we talking here? $60?
Oh no, I mean it was like 200 Canadian.
Oh, well, that's Canadian, of course.
Yeah, but the thing is they're mini PCs, so they're not like RetroPies. It is a little computer. It comes with Windows.
Oh, I see.
It's a computer. Because RetroPies, like their little chipboard or whatever, and they're fine, but they really don't have the power. Like I would watch these videos of people emulating games. They're like, oh, and you can play your N64 games and shit. I'm like, yeah, but at their native resolution. Like who the hell wants to play Mario Kart at 260 by 140 or whatever? Like, you know, when I play 3D games, I like a system that has enough power to make it look sharp.
See, Andy, I'm a bit more of a purist, mate. I'm sorry, I kind of am. But look, my problem is playing those old games. I don't like them stretched out on the screen. I almost prefer to play them square.
That's an issue with the Pandora's box.
Yeah.
Because Pandora's boxes, they come and everything's stretched widescreen.
Yeah.
It's like Apple, right? Like they make things that are plug and play. And so if you just use it exactly the way they give it to you, everything works fine. But the second you go, actually, I want to change a specific thing, sometimes as simple as turning a game from widescreen back into 4:3, and then it's an issue. And then you're like, man, this is so much easier on the computer when you're dealing with the emulator. You know, you just have the little menu and, you know, you can put in your blur and your scan lines and all the things you want to do. So I will say this, when it comes to 2D games, I might even go even older school than I thought I was going to, which is ironic. I used to have like a stack of old TVs in my basement, which I eventually destroyed and brought to the dump because I'm like, who's going to need these anymore?
Yeah.
And now I'm starting to realize that maybe to properly enjoy these classic games, I actually need to get an old TV. Like,
I think, look, honestly, everyone's different, but I think I'm in that boat. I really do, because it just it looks different. It's not meant to be played that way on a wide screen. I don't know. That's me.
Well, also the way the pixels look, like the games are too sharp. Like when I play like the arcade games and the old Nintendo and the Genesis stuff, I usually use, I think it's called the bilinear filter, and that's the one that kind of just adds a layer of blur on the screen.
Yes.
I need that filter. Sometimes I put scan lines on, but for me, it's just the blur. The blur filter is the one I always need on, because those games, when they're too sharp, like Mortal Kombat, for example, is a perfect example. Like it doesn't look good when you can see all the pixels. It needs to be blurred. I think it really does need to be played on an old school TV.
Yeah. I played Castlevania Symphony. I'll do that again. Oh my God, I can't even talk now. You're going to leave this shit in, aren't you? I knew it. Symphony of the Night. Stop it. I can say it, all right? Damn it. It's like one of my favorite games of all time, and I went back and played it again on the PS4. I purchased it, and it looks quite different, and then I was like, man, I don't remember it looking like, it's still good. But it looks different with a new screen, and I kind of miss the old look. Yeah, I went and compared it, and like I was like, because there's other people that think this way, and there actually is a lot of people that think that way. So
when it comes to 3D games, I don't mind boosting the performance. So when I play GoldenEye, I do prefer to boost. I will boost the performance as much as I can. Like, I would boost it to fucking 4K with anti-aliasing on fucking max and like...
Yeah.
But the 2D games are different. And I've been watching a lot of videos of nerds talk about old CRT TVs and stuff, and I never thought about it in this way. I mean, that was just the technology of the time, but the games were sort of made to be played on those TVs.
They were, yeah.
Yeah, so like some of the graphics were made in such a way because they knew it was going to come through a tube TV and it sort of softens the edges of, you know, like the pixels and stuff like that. And so now it's really been making me think, fuck, I wish I didn't throw out all those TVs because I had a fucking stack of them.
I had a really good one too, a Super Trinitron flat screen, fucking state of the art. It was $2,000 at the time, Andy. $2,000.
Jesus Christ.
I know. Now I had to throw it out. It's not worth anything.
I know. I had a buddy who had like a 34-inch.
Damn.
And I was like, I asked him just today, I'm just like, what'd you do with that TV, man? And he's like, oh, he took it to the dump like 4 years ago. The thing was, that TV, I think it did weigh like 500 pounds or like 200 or something.
Dude, those old TVs were nuts. I was talking about that with my brother. He had a Philips one that was just before plasma became real popular. About 2003, he bought it. And this thing, I'm not kidding, it weighed like 120 pounds.
Yeah.
I remember we had to get rid of it one day. I was like, holy fuck. Have you got a dead body in here or something? Like, Jesus Christ, man.
I do.
Matter of fact, yeah. Anyway, I almost wrecked his car trying to take it out of his car. I almost wrecked it because it was fucking so hard. Once we got it in there, it's like, how the fuck you would get it out? 'Cause you got to climb in there and you can't lift. So we almost ripped his seats and his door and everything. He's like, good riddance. Good riddance, you piece of shit. But anyway.
I know. With those TVs that I got rid of, once they were in my house, because a friend of mine brought them over and like, you could use these, and I thought maybe I would use them as props for something. And I smashed them in the basement. Because I was like, I'm not carrying these things out of here. Like, I took the wood panels off the side. Some of them had wood panel TVs.
Oh, I miss that shit.
I took them apart and I took a sledgehammer and I smashed as much as I could so that I could sort of just put it in bags. I know someone's going to in the comments be like, you shouldn't be fucking breathing in the tube shit or whatever. And let's just say I turned out great. Do you want to play me a song?
Sure, I can play you something. You still need a little bit of work on your segues. I see you're a little rusty, but that's okay.
Fuck you.
So there's a new one out from Mark D called Aquatic Ambience.
Okay, so Aquatic Ambience is the Donkey Kong underwater music. The skizzy Aquatic Ambience song is the one that people use on TikTok a lot, where he did this weird remix of Aquatic Ambience.
Yeah, it's got a lot of plays.
Yeah, it's like kind of reversed and funny sounding, but it is still... And then I guess this is a play on the skizzy one.
So...
Because the people love to cover Aquatic Ambience because it is like one of the best
it's pretty good
video game songs of all time. And then Skizzy is this cover of Aquatic Ambience or remix or whatever that people use on TikTok all the time. It's one of those whenever something weird and it's like, you know, like, and you hear it a lot on TikTok. And I guess Mark D's version is like a playing on the Skizzy remix version.
Yeah, this one's got a higher tempo, better drums, and it's quite a different take on it, and it's also has some great guitar work from none other than Krueger.
Nice. Well, let's listen to it then. This is Aquatic Ambience by Mark D. It's some Krueger in there. All right, that was Aquatic Ambience by Mark D with some Shred Krueger. Of course, everyone loves that Donkey Kong song. That probably is still one of my favorite video game songs as well, to be honest.
That whole video game, there's certain games that came out on Super Nintendo that are just, I don't know, they're just up there. The gameplay, the visual style, the visual quality, and the sound. I mean, just so good. And that's obviously, right up there with one of the best on Super Nintendo. That was such a fucking good game.
One of these days, because I'm trying to make this the year of the retro game for me, I want to come up with a list of just all the games that mattered. Not necessarily like my favorite top 10 games list, but you know how like throughout your life, there's just games you were playing that maybe you don't look back and go like, that was one of my favorite games of all time, but it's still important in just your development or whatever.
Yeah. Well, as far as Super Nintendo, I mean, for me, it'd be like Super Mario World, there'd be Metroid, there'd be Zelda, Link to the Past, there would be Donkey Kong, just trying to think of some of the others, Castlevania, just everything about it. And every time I don't know, just something nostalgic about it, and it was a big part of me growing up.
Because there's the ones that you think back to and go like, oh, that goes on my list. And then there's other games that are seminal memories where you're like, this was an important memory that I saw this game or that I played it, but I don't necessarily care or think like, I remember like Street Fighter, the first time I saw Street Fighter 2, it was like my brother had a friend who had a Super Nintendo. I didn't own one yet. And I went to his house and he was one of those guys, had like a rec room in his basement and the Super Nintendo hooked up. I just remember just the experience of seeing a game system where like, this looks like the arcade, like even though it doesn't. Like,
yeah, that was pretty good.
So that was an important time because I remember it just made me feel like, ooh, like Super Nintendo is a special thing. Like this is different than these other things. And I saw them playing Super Mario World and Street Fighter, and it was like such a big deal, and this guy just owned those two games. And then I remember I rented a Super Nintendo and I phoned that guy, even though he was like more my brother's age. I'm like, hey, can I borrow some games off you or whatever? He's like, yeah. And I said, oh, can I try out Street Fighter? And he's like, what, are you crazy?
Yeah.
Because like that was like his favorite game and he wouldn't lend it out or whatever.
I know. It was like, if I lend you that game, it's going to have to lend me 3 games in return. It's not like a regular game. You know what I mean? That's just how I know. I asked my friend too. He's like, nah. And then I had to save up, man, to buy it because it was more expensive than the other games too for some fucking reason. Did you get that as well? I swear it was like an extra $10 or $20.
Well, I think we've talked about this before on the show, but like video game prices didn't used to be regulated. So even though they've gone up again, I don't know if you noticed, but there's a lot of new games now in the PlayStation Store, Canadian dollars. $93 is now the new, it looks like that's the new price for next gen games. 93 something.
Well, I guess that's about $60 American, US, I guess, because that's usually what we pay, about $60.
Aren't you guys up to 70 now?
I don't think so. I think I paid $60 for Baldurs.
When you say 60, do you mean 59 or do you mean 69?
59.
Really?
$59.99 plus tax. But see, we have New York State tax, which fucks us too.
Okay, I would look into that because I thought the American default price now was like 79.
No, you're wrong. I'm looking it up right now. It's saying it's $59.99 if I want to buy it on Steam. Oh, for fuck's sakes, I've got to put my goddamn birth date in every goddamn time. Just because there's bears that you can have sex with.
No, I mean, okay, so I'm not saying that's not what you bought Baldur's Gate for, but I mean, I think the default price of a new game, like when you buy a game day one, that they keep raising that price. It's like they up it like $10 every year. The whole reason why I even brought this up, maybe it's not affecting your purchase of Baldur's Gate because it's like
maybe. I mean, I'm no expert because I don't buy a shitload of games, so maybe some of the listeners can tell us if that's true or not. But
hold on, I'm typing in modern game pricing US, right?
Yeah, but the problem we got over here is tax too, so you end up paying like $6 on top of that, so you're almost paying fucking 70 anyway. Fucking tax.
I'm seeing now they're saying it's 70. I think it's like 69 is the... Anyway, look, the point is this. I mean, like, but some games are even more, right? Like, you'll see like the new Call of Duty or whatever, and it'll be like, buy the, they're always advertising like buy the fucking special edition before it even comes out for like $150 or whatever. The only reason why I brought this up was because when I was young, there was no standard game price for anything, right? Like they would literally be different prices depending on what store you went to. And I know that I paid $99 for Mortal Kombat 3.
Yes.
I paid $99 for Mortal Kombat Trilogy on the N64. I paid $99 for Conker's Bad Fur Day. And that's then money. That was fucking like 1997 money or whatever, which is worth more than today's money. And we had a higher tax rate back then too. We had 15%. They changed it to 13 because they merged the...
Nice.
Anyways, listen. I want to listen to a song.
Yeah, I know. So I'm just going to say this is the most random shit. We haven't recorded it in 3 months. and I just get a text message on my phone. I look at it. Who the fuck would be texting me now? And it's my boss at work saying, "Are these guys any good?" And he sent me a screenshot of Marko and Andy Power Hour. What are the chances? We just happen to be recording right now. How the fuck? Dude, there's some coincidences in life, I tell you. I told them, yeah, real good. Real fucking good.
Yeah. Well, look.
Anyway, sorry.
Let's listen to this. Baldocaster came out with a new little EP, and it's really good. There's actually 2 songs on there I really wanted to play, but I'm just going to play one of them. I love Baldocaster, and this track is called Sunless Sea. And that was Sunless Sea by Baldocaster from the album Fragment. 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 Look, the point is, I'm here with Marko.
Yeah.
I want to do a quick shout out. We're going to do a little random Patreon shout out. That's a new thing I'm going to do.
You shouting out.
What do we got here? In the $10 club, how about shout out to Andrew Bennon and Dr. Churlish? Who the fuck is Dr. Churlish?
It's me.
Dr. Churlish. Let's look into the donation of the Beast Club. That's the 666. Hey, Tatsuya Miwa. Thanks, and thanks to Cat Punk and Luke Jackson. All right. Anyways, we're back. So
yeah, we're talking about price of games.
Yeah.
No, but I wanted to say, like, because games were super expensive when we were growing up, because like the Super Nintendo and the Mega Drive or Genesis, wherever you're from, those games were always $90 to $100 in Australia. And back in like fucking 1990 or 91, 92, that was a lot of money, man.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't working or anything. And then Street Fighter came out and that was like $115 or something. I was like, what the fuck? You've got to have a job. I mean, the only people that had that game were people with a job or people that were like ridiculously spoiled by their parents.
Yeah.
But games actually came down in price. But before that, like Nintendo 64 came out and we were pissed off because that's when I started working and I could kind of afford games, but me and my brother used to bitch about it. Like Nintendo 64, the games, I know because they're on cartridge, they're more expensive than PlayStation, you know, and some of the games were ridiculous, man. 115, 120 was like normal price for a game. But then it came down, like then it was like $80 to $90 per game all the way through PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, Xbox and all that. So that, at least there's that. And you know, a lot more goes into the games now. They have a bigger crew and everything, but I guess they're charging more now.
For a long time, I was paying 69 Canadian.
Wow.
69 used to be the price for games, which is...
What systems are we talking about? Like, what era was that?
That's what we're talking about here, like PS2, PS3, PS4.
Oh, yeah.
And then every generation, they started upping the price by like $10.
Yeah.
And then now it seems like they're doing a lot more of that, and they're doing a lot more of that upselling bullshit.
Oh, I fucking hate that. Season pass. You want the season pass, and you get extra costume, and you get an extra weapon that you're never going to use, but it looks good.
Yes.
I stopped doing that shit. I'm sick of it. Like I did that with Dead Island. We got the $20 extra and you get everything and the season pass, and I finished the game and it's like, well, you know what? I don't even think I want to play it anymore. Like, I'm done. And then I got one costume that was shit, and then I got fucking this weapon and it's like, I don't even need it. I mean, I've already got really good weapons. Anyway, so it was such a waste of money.
Yeah, no, I did that with Mortal Kombat and it was ridiculous. I think I'm just done with this. I think the reason why I'm compelled to just play more retro games and do the back catalog is I don't like the modern video game business model. I don't like it. I think a lot of people also don't like it. Like this fucking perpetually online fucking games as a service bullshit where like it's like the game isn't even like on your system. It's like the game's online, you know, like everything you do is play some stupid multiplayer co-op thing, and it's like I just want to go back to just the games. Yeah. Like I love retro games, but I do love a lot of the quality of life shit of modern games. You know, when I go back and play old games, yeah, there's this nostalgia, but then there is also that thing of, oh, remember in like 2001 where like all games now have this option or whatever, and that option just makes playing these types of games a lot better. Like, you know, you'll play some shooting game and it's like, hey, I get to look up and I can like aim up and aim in every direction, and then you go back and play those games from like the 80s and like you can only shoot straight.
Yeah, like Doom, you can't look up and down. If somebody's above you have to just line them up and it'll shoot up automatically.
Yes.
Which always seems weird to me.
And it's like that. It's like that with a lot of old games where you go like, oh, I like this, but you know, I like the new ones move faster, or they load whatever. Like there's things that they do that I like, but maybe like the answer lies in the modding community and the indie game community, because you know I talk about Goldeneye all the time and people make fun of me, but it's like I don't want to talk about Goldeneye. Right? Like the reason why I do is because
it's so good.
But it's so good, and because another company never tried to come in and go, here's the new Goldeneye replacement, the Goldeneye killer or whatever, right? Like every other franchise, you've got new versions, you know, every few years or whatever. And it's like, you know, if you're a fan of Street Fighter, right? Like you've got the new Street Fighter 6 and everyone's fucking raving about, or you got Tekken 8 and all this shit, right? So I'm sure a Tekken fan gets to look at Tekken 8. All the reviewers giving it fucking amazing scores. Everyone talks about how great it is. It's probably not sitting there whining about, oh, I still want to play Tekken 2, because they've got this new game that everybody likes. It's good, right? That's not to say that the old games don't have their own nostalgic value, but the franchise, the whole thing is being carried forward. I watched this video today about, here's the upcoming first-person shooters to look out for in 2024, right? And first-person shooters now, they're all gimmicks, like high-concept things, and at no point is there ever just a game that's just you play as an action hero, and it's like you're in an action movie, but it's a first-person shooting game, right? They're all, this game takes place in an alternate universe where fucking 1950 didn't happen, and your gun is attached to your arm. Or, this game takes place in a post-apocalyptic wasteland that's based on the 1950s. Where this game takes place on an alien ship with ghosts, and you need a fucking gun that shoots souls. This fucking game takes place in an alternate 1931 where fucking reptiles, whatever. Every single game is that.
Yeah.
They're all that. Every single fucking game that's a first-person shooter is all, this fucking game takes place in an alternate 1948 where you reverse time whenever you punch. This game takes place in a fucking cloud where you shoot rain out of your eyes. Like, none of them are just like, just a fucking game where you are just a fucking action hero. And it's like an action, like John Wick is a huge franchise. Why isn't there a shooting game John Wick? Why?
I know. There even was a Matrix game when that came out, which was pretty cool. It was an action game. I don't know if you ever remember. I know they don't really do stuff like that anymore.
But even just for the feeling, like it doesn't. I'm not saying it necessarily has to be based on a franchise or a movie franchise, but like, why is there not just a normal shooting game? Like, when I play Goldeneye, it's like, is this the last game ever that was like, you play as an action hero from an action movie sort of thing, and you're just like a lone guy doing missions or whatever? Because everything now, it's all concept, these high concepts, and all I want is just, like, honestly, this is why I love Grand Theft Auto, as wacky as it is. It's like the most normal, like it takes place in the real world, and it's not fucking Call of Duty or whatever. And that's the thing that drives me nuts, is because when I talk about Goldeneye, I wish there was a game that fucking replaced Goldeneye. I want new graphics with all the fucking bells and whistles of Unreal Engine 5 and all these fucking ray tracing and all this bullshit, but I just want it to be like playing fucking Goldeneye.
Yeah, you have regular weapons with regular sniper gun and no fucking bullets coming out of your asshole, or laser beams or whatever.
Every fucking...
Just regular.
They're all that. It's all that. Fucking post-apocalyptic alternate reality. You hold Y and you go back in time and fucking you reverse time.
You have telekinesis with X.
Just drives me nuts. Anyway, play me a song.
All right. Okay, we've got some new dark synths that came out. Acryl Madness is one of my favorite dark synth producers for the last couple of years. He has a new album out. I think it's a 6-track EP album, whatever. And the track that I like off it the most is Occult Overdose.
All right, and that was Occult Overdose by Acryl Madness. I'm here right now with Marko, with the Marko and Andy Power Hour. I was just getting upset about old game stuff.
I'm very excited. I actually feel like the PlayStation 3 was kind of when things peaked a little bit, and I'm going to explain why I think that is. I mean, all the systems are great, and I've had so much fun throughout the years, but I think it peaked because that was just before you had where you have to keep paying for shit, you know?
Oh, you mean like DLC and...
Yeah, and all that. It was right before that. They would come out with expansions for games, and it wasn't like a DLC as in like you pay, a season pass or whatever it is, or you pay for costumes.
You had to buy the fucking disc.
Yeah, you would actually get an like a whole new game, like for example, Undead Nightmare with Red Dead Redemption.
Yep.
I mean, there was like GTA expansions for GTA 4, a whole new set of missions and everything. It was like a new game, just set in the same place, whatever. I feel like it was really good because it was right in between the two phases. So you basically had where everybody was playing online, but you still had provision to be able to play with your buddy at home together on the same screen.
Yes.
Most games had split screen co-op, split screen multiplayer, and you had the option of LAN, you had the option of playing online together. So you kind of had the best of both worlds. Now kind of everything's just gone towards, everybody's playing in their living room online, with all the online purchases now. It gets fucking frustrating, man. It really does with certain games. Anyway, I just feel like that was a really good time right there.
I've probably said this before, like one of my favorite video game memories, which is this a very pathetic memory. The last time I had like a game day, it was the PS3 and it was Skyrim. Or no, it wasn't Skyrim, it was Oblivion.
Oblivion, of course, yeah.
And I had a little games room in my attic, and there was just this one day, I wasn't married yet, I was with my wife, but what you call them when they're not your wife, but your girlfriend.
That's what it is, yeah.
She bought me the PS3 as a gift, right? And it was awesome, and then I just remember this one day where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go upstairs. I went to Tim Hortons. I bought a whole bunch of food. Just fucking sandwiches and donuts and snacks and cookies and drinks. And I just sat up there and I just fucking played Oblivion all day. And I still think about that day. I still think about that fucking day.
Like a perfect day.
Because it was awesome. I just had a fucking little table with snacks. No one to bug me. I just told everybody in advance. And Oblivion was new, so it was like a new experience, like this fucking crazy open world RPG that blew my mind because I'd never played a game like that, and I always wanted that game to exist. So playing it was just like, I can't believe I'm playing an open world fucking fantasy game where, it's just like everything about it just blew my mind.
So good.
And then I had all day, and you're right, because with all this downloadable content now and all these extra things, it's like you never feel like, it's weird. On one hand, it's cool because if you like a game, you get to keep getting new experiences, right? Like, so part of me goes, what if Goldeneye kept going and every year there was a map expansion pack and a gun pack or whatever? Like, I would be happy with that. That's pretty cool. It keeps the game alive. There's new things. On the other hand, it's like you never feel like there is a game.
Right, but can you imagine if Goldeneye had done that, like every 3 months there's another fucking level? Like, after a while it gets watered down because it's like, this is the game. These are the 20 levels or whatever, and this is it. You can play it on the hardest mode, which is ridiculously fucking hard. Or, I mean, I understand. I can see some people will be like, yeah, that's great. There's more content. But at the same time, I like it that that's it. That is it, for that game.
I see both sides, where on one hand, it's nice to get new content because you might get a new favorite thing. But then I also appreciate that once I have my favorite things, I like to go back to them. So it's like, if you gave me a level expansion pack and there's one great level, maybe it becomes part of the rotation.
I also understand more with the multiplayer. Like, yeah, of course, if there's an online community and everybody's playing it, you got to have fresh content. You have to, otherwise it's going to die. So I do understand that.
It's just weird because you feel like you don't have the game.
Right.
I don't know how to explain this. Like, in the past, you buy a game and you own this thing, and there's all the content of that thing in this cartridge you just bought. But when all the content is like online or needs to be unlocked, or it's coming in a week, or these costumes are coming in 2 months but you already know they're coming or whatever, then it's sort of like, is there anything? Like, is there even a game on this disc? What is this? Like, when the internet shuts down, I just don't have this anymore. Like, it's just gone.
Yep.
And it's a weird feeling. That's why I like always tinkering with retro games and like trying to build this arcade, because I just like going back and just having a thing. And I do have one weird thing though about retro games I don't know if everyone's on board with. I kind of like still having individual consoles.
Yeah.
But as I'm building the arcade, I watch these videos of people who they've got their arcade setups and they go, this thing's got 70,000 games, and they're like flipping through all the games, right? And it's like, this it does N64, it does fucking GameCube, it does PS1 and PS2, but I don't want to play Mario 64 on an arcade machine. Like,
no.
Mario 64 is an N64 game you play on the couch, but I want to play arcade games on the arcade machine, right? Like, for me, an arcade machine is like brawlers and fighting games. Like, that's what they're there for. And so I'm not going to load my arcade machine with like console games unless they're arcadey style console games, like brawlers or fighting games or whatever. But for the most part, if they're a port of an arcade game, I don't need them. Like, I don't need the Super Nintendo version of Mortal Kombat 2 if I have the arcade version of Mortal Kombat 2, because it's better.
Yeah, I like the convenience of having it all in the same spot. But you're right, like with a lot of things, it is better having the different console. It's nice if you could. There's just so many, but maybe just your favorite ones. But like the Nintendo 64 in particular stands out to me because I don't like playing it through the emulators because I want to play it on the Nintendo 64 controller. I know it has copped some flack over the years, but those games on that system really need to be played through that controller to be played properly. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
like,
Nintendo is funny that way. I think when I do say that thing about consoles, I think I am talking specifically about Nintendo, because now knowing that these little mini computers exist, although I do need one that's more powerful than the one that I bought, because N64 emulation's funny, it requires more power than it should to, boost the graphics and stuff. But I would like to, remember Jared? Fucking Retro Revolutions?
Yes.
So I remember he was saying he was going to make this thing for me that never happened, but
yeah, you're going to make something for me too.
I think now I could make that thing, because essentially if I bought a mini PC and then got a used N64, or someone had an old broken N64, I would just, crack it open, put the mini PC inside, close it up, drill some holes where the ports are for like USB ports or whatever, and then have like an N64 specific emulator system so that it has N64 controllers, but the games look better and it's got an HDMI out, but it's just for N64. That's just the point of it. Because with PlayStation, it's different, right? Because it's been technically the same controller layout.
Right. Yeah, that one's not a big deal because it is pretty much the same.
But with N64, because I do have that issue when I play the emulator, where I'm like, I don't like using the right analog stick as the C buttons. Like, I want C buttons.
I want C buttons, yeah.
You're playing like WrestleMania and stuff, and it's like those games, that was the whole thing. Like, C button down is run. Like, I don't want to press a joystick for that, whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, that's what puts me off playing a lot of Nintendo 64 games on emulators. No, it does, really. Like, Super Nintendo games are fine because the controller, it's not as big a deal, at all, really. So, I completely agree.
Look, we'll keep talking, but I want to listen to a song here. And I got a cool one here from, I guess he's calling himself just George Ergem now, which is George Ergem Lids. I had him on the show a few seasons ago. He's a cool guy. But this song, it says George Ergem. So I don't know if he's like abbreviated his last name or what. But anyway, it's a cool song. He had a little 4-track EP called Exhale, and this is the titular Exhale track from George Ergem. right, and that was George Ergem with Exhale. I wonder if when he shortens it like that, if he wants it still pronounced Ergem or Ergem.
I'm sure he'll let us know.
Yeah,
hopefully he's listening at some point and you can let us know what's the correct answer.
Yeah, George. Anyways, he's a cool guy from Tbilisi. So anyways, listen, I'm here with Marko. It's the Marko and Andy Power Hour. I did promise some ball school updates.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. That's right.
So let's just do that and get it out of the way. I did generate 2 songs using some AI music generator to come up with some kind of theme song. So here that is.
Somewhere out there there's a ball school, a German ball school, and they call it their ball school. Ball school updates. It's a ball school update. Ball Schulen finden statt. Ball Schule is taking place. Ball school, this is the ball school, ball school. We are the balls, and the school is our soul.
All right, so look. I got a few ball school updates. This one is from the start of the year. So for those of you who don't know, for some reason, I got my email address on the ball school mailing list, which is it's a place called Werder Ball School in Germany, and they send me ball school updates. I don't know why. I guess someone who goes to that place or their kid goes to the ball school has a similar email to me. And this was from the beginning of the year. It says, Liebe Eltern, anyway, the translation is, due to illness, the ball schools unfortunately have to be canceled for today.
Oh my God.
Then there was another update that said, the ball schools can still take place today. Have fun later. Best regards, the ball school team.
School team.
So normally that's what it is. Someone's sick or whatever. Then there was this one, which was a bit longer. So it's Werder Tug is the Instagram. I don't know what the tug is, but like it's spelled W-E-R-D-E-R. I think it's pronounced Werder Ball School. At least that's how the AI sung it. Dear ball school parents, we would like to draw your attention to a few little things to ensure better coexistence and increased well-being for your children. The first point we would like to address is staying in the halls. Of course, we can understand very well if you would like to accompany your child to the ball schools for the first 1 or 2 times. That is not a problem in our opinion. However, we would like to ask you not to stay in the halls afterwards. This only leads to unrest, which is no good for anyone. The ball schools are sports courses without parents, in contrast to parent and child gymnastics. I guess a bunch of stuff happens at the ball school.
I bet it does.
Yeah. We would also like to draw attention to the following point. Since communication about outages via email is sometimes lost, we also communicate outages via our Instagram page. So this is where we can get ball school updates all the time at Werder Tug. So that's what's going on at the ball school. The parents are waiting in the halls where they shouldn't be.
That's so fucking weird, man.
I finally went to that Instagram, right? Because I'm just like, what is this? Werder Tug.
Do they actually have any videos or photos?
They do have photos, yeah. It's like a rec center.
Okay.
There's something to me that is so funny about the fact that it's called the ball school. Like, I don't know why. I mean, well, I do know why, but you know.
Translates so badly, doesn't it?
Fucking ball school.
You imagine they tell people, what do you do for a living? I work at the ball school.
Yeah. You gotta say it with that tone of voice as well. Okay, you know what? We'll do one more thing.
Yes.
Before you play me a song, let's just do a quick birthdays.
Sure.
We completely missed the month of January, so I think this year, just to simplify things, because I always forget, I'm just going to do the birthdays for the month. January we missed. So hold on, I'm going to play the jingle. Happy birthday. These are my January birthdays, which we missed. They're a month late. So a happy birthday to Kudzost, all right, Stanislav. A happy birthday, and that was on January the 1st. On January the 2nd, a happy birthday to Ross Pentland. On January 8th, a happy birthday to Slade. And on January 15th, a happy birthday to Tatsuya Miwa. On January 26th, happy birthday to Monkey Magics. And then Mike Bailey, happy birthday. That was on the 29th. And then there was another 29th birthday, Edward Knight. I don't even know if that guy's still a patron. He was the Naked Flame. And then on January 31st, Happy birthday to Stu M. I guess, well, maybe we should do February ones. You know what? Play me a song and then we'll do the February birthdays and get that shit out of the way.
All right.
And it is shit, by the way. Sorry.
There's a newer artist that I discovered just recently who's got a really good track. This is a really gorgeous song right here that I've been enjoying. It's by an artist called Levi Doron, and the track is Miami Sunset.
And that was Levi Doron with the track Miami Sunset. And that was a nice one there. And I'm here with Marco. We're the Marko and Andy Power Hour. Now we're getting through some business here. We took a lot of big long segments there talking about video games.
This is the business end of the show.
I do love that this is called the Power Hour.
Yeah, and it always goes over an hour.
Yes.
Well over an hour.
When we came up with the idea, it was literally supposed to be an hour. Like if you listen to the first few, we did it in an hour, and like now it's just fucking.
we really?
Yeah. The first few are like an hour and 5 minutes.
I'm impressed that we could keep it to an hour at any point.
Yeah, man. Well, it didn't last long. All right, listen. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
What we're going to do now is we're going to do the February birthdays. And if you want me to shout out your birthday, if you're a patron of the show, just send me a message on Patreon and just say when your birthday is, and I'll read it out and the name you want me to say. So look, in February, I want to have a very happy birthday. That's stupid. I want to wish a very happy birthday to River Avenue from February 2nd. That's belated because this episode comes out after that, but happy birthday, buddy, to River Avenue. On February 6th, happy birthday to David Lavelli Jr. Joe Esposito's birthday's on February 11th. Happy birthday to Joe. You can go back and listen. Last year, Marko and I did an episode of Joe's podcast, the Ozone Late Night. I forget when that was.
That's right.
Then like November he put that out or something like that.
I think so, yeah.
Anyway, that's if you like listening to us talk about shit. And then happy birthday to Daniel Hrivnak, aka Silent H. That's on February 12th. On February 14th, happy birthday to your friendly neighborhood Raccoon PD. Well, we heard from him in the call-in shows, of course. He used to go by Jimmy the Hot Andrew. He's a cool guy. And Skylane Drive, happy birthday on February 14th. Cenotaph, aka Wes Evans, happy birthday February the 16th. We talked to him too. Then there's Florence. We all know Florence, right? Glitbiter. We do the round tables. I don't know how many of those we're going to do this year, but that's the thing we do. Happy birthday, Florence, February 25th. And then on 26th, happy birthday to Dinner Doug. And then Assy Dre, happy birthday to you. That's February 27th. And finally, on February 28th, Night of Ducks, who we also talked to on the call-in shows last season. So happy birthday to all of you. Those are our February birthdays. Marko, what do you have to say about that?
I was going to say happy birthday. Hopefully this show comes out before your birthday, so it'll be before it and not on a belated birthday. But no, thanks for all the support, and hope you have a good one.
Was that just a general message for everybody?
It was, for everybody, even if it's not your birthday.
I thought you were about to add another February birthday. I'm like, oh, the fuck, who's this going to be?
Oh, I can't think of any right now, mate.
Anyway, that was a big, long list. I didn't...
It was, yeah.
Usually it's there's like 5 or 6. That's the way I like it because I like short lists. Know what I mean?
You do like short lists?
Yeah. I don't know I don't know, is this a euphemism? I don't know what I'm doing here.
I don't know either. I was trying to think of something clever to say, but I can't think of it.
Well, look, how about we'll listen to another song here. It's my turn, right?
Yeah, you got another one?
I think this was sent to me by Aztec Records. Yeah, it's an album by Black Like Oil is what they're called. And this is a cool song. This is Icarus by Black Like Oil.
There's nothing wrong with this perfect world, but I'm not sure I am the one who stays for more wasted days.
And that was Black Like Oil with the track Icarus from the album Past Perfect Continues. There's an EP, and that was cool. And I'm here with Marko. We're doing the first Marko and Andy Power Hour of Season 12 in February, and we're having a good time. We've been talking about retro games. So what's the plan then? Do you have any...
Really, nothing's changed for me. I mean, I'm going to be working a lot, but I just want to play Baldurs Gate. I got a whole bunch of games I want to play. I just got to find the time to do it. Not enough time in the day. Still watching lots of old horror movies. I just watched Basket Case 2 last night. That was a funny one. These fucking movies are so ridiculous. And that's really it, man. Just keeping it simple. Keeping it real and keeping it 80s, you know?
Basket Case 2 looked very silly. I sort of skimmed through it. It seemed tonally very different than the first one.
Yeah, it was. It was very different. There's still number 3 there to watch, which I'll get around to eventually. But no, it was funny. It was entertaining. Let's put it that way.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I haven't really seen too much. I've really had my head into getting this stupid arcade machine to work. That's where I've been focusing.
Well, I hope it all works out for you. I mean, I hope you can use both controllers, and I'm interested to see how it develops and what you figure out.
You know what it's really making me think about? Because at first I would see these websites of people who build arcade machines, right? Like, you know, you buy these custom arcades, and they seemed so expensive. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm never going to do that, you know, because they charge like fucking $3,000 and shit, you know, upwards for these pre-built arcade machines. Like the professional looking ones, right?
Right, yeah.
But now that I start to think about it, yes, it's too much money. And like, obviously, I don't have that kind of money and wouldn't spend it. But now when you start to build your own, it's not like there's a huge markup on what they're charging. Because it seems silly when you're like $3,000, but then when you think, well, even some of the wood and the materials, that's like fucking hundreds of dollars right there.
Just that alone.
And then there's still like the time it takes to fucking cut and assemble the thing. And then when they have the artwork on the side, like the computer that's inside it that runs the fucking games. And I'm sure they have, you know, like a hard drive template with all the games that they just sort of clone and put into a new system. So I'm sure they're not like struggling like I am. Like I'm sure they just copy the computer to another computer and everything just works. But you know, if you want light guns, there's the arcade machines you can buy that also have the light gun set up. If they're using Gun for IR, which is like the top of the line that all the nerds like for shooting games because it's more accurate, Gun for IR is the name of these type of light guns. They're $400 US a piece if you buy one. And you still have to calibrate it yourself when you get home. Like, I mean, it's not like it's plug and play. Like, you got to still have the program running and all this shit. So now I start to see, when I see this arcade machine for like $4,000, and it's like, I think I can do the math and count like $2,000 worth of just materials and computers and parts. And then there's the labor costs, and then there's the fucking sending it to you. And so at first I thought to myself, like, yeah, like these things cost like $500 to make and they're selling them for $4,000. That's pretty crazy. But I don't think it is that. You know, in some cases, the computer inside might be, you know, like $500, you know, like, so that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, it's quite worth it, yeah. I would love to have that set up. Look, honestly, even arcade games, I like playing them sitting down now. I'm fucking old, man. Who am I kidding? You know, I'm playing Final Fight, and I don't want to stand there for fucking an hour. The novelty of it is great and all, but I do like sitting on a couch when I'm playing my games now, so, especially with console games, like you were saying before, so.
Well, I might do the stool thing. I might get a stool.
The stool thing?
Yeah. You know, you get like a stool.
Yeah, no, yeah, I know exactly what I know. I still like to sit back.
It's not a euphemism. I mean, a stool that you sit on.
No, it's just funny because, like, oh, you know, there is an option, a stool. It's like, yeah, I know. It's like,
maybe you haven't heard about this, Marko, but
we didn't have them in Australia. Okay, I've lived a sheltered life.
Everything's upside down down there.
Yeah, that too.
It's like you want to sit on a stool, but it's like just these 4 legs sticking up, and like they just go into your ass, and like
unless you like stools or heels up your ass.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. And who doesn't? What I'm noticing now is I love the ambience of an arcade room. I would love like a room full of arcade machines, but I know deep down I wouldn't play them. It's all just for the atmosphere. It's like, you know those people who collect cars, you know, and it's like they've got this garage with all these cars. Part of that is just, it's cool to have your garage full of cars. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not like you're driving them all the time. You just want to walk in and look at them. I would love a room in the house that was just the arcade room, even if there was also a couch in there with a TV, to like play games, but then like, you know, the walls are lined with arcade machines, and so you get that vibe. You know, maybe even have like speakers in the corners of the room playing music, so you just feel like you're, you know, at some place. Like, I've always loved that atmosphere.
Yeah.
But, you know, there is this realization too, like deep down, you know, like, and this is the thing too, this is why I didn't want to spend a huge amount of money on an arcade machine, was like, I know what the final thing is. Like, it will be a thing that sits in the corner that you play maybe 20 to 30 minutes a month. Like, I know that. So part of this is the fun of just the project. Can I build an arcade machine? Can I figure it out myself? Because I'm not using blueprints. Like, I'm doing everything wrong. I would make so many people who are passionate about building, I would make them so mad if they saw what I was doing. It's crazy. I'm using the wrong kind of wood. I'm using the wrong kind of saw. I'm not using a fucking template. I'm building it as I go, which means I'm not even assembling it in the proper order. I fucking built that stupid control board with the controllers before even testing to see if they did work. I should have tested them first. Like, I could have plugged the wires in.
That's true, actually. Yeah. I didn't want to say that, but I figured, like, it's all right. You're already kind of shitty. I didn't want to state the obvious. I know, you think you would have plugged it in first before you fucking...
Again, this is my mental problem, is I just want to do things in a particular order.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get reinvigorated when a certain step happens in the process. I get bored of a project. Like, put it this way, I've been building this arcade machine now for like 5 months, and sometimes a month goes by and I do nothing, because I'm like, the next thing I do is I have to build a piece of wood that goes across the top that's going to be for the marquee or whatever. And I just couldn't move forward until I cut that piece of wood. I couldn't move forward on any of the rest of it. I just needed that piece of wood cut, and I didn't feel like cutting that piece of wood. So for a month, nothing happened. Like, it just sat there because I just didn't cut that piece of wood. And so when it came to the control deck, I was like, you know what? The only way this project is moving forward and I get excited again is if I fucking put these buttons in and play it. I want to be able to feel the joystick and press the buttons and make sure they're the right spacing or whatever. So I had to do that step to get excited about the machine again. And so I did, and it was wrong because I should have tested them first. Like, I had to do it. If I didn't do it, it would have been another 2 months of nothing.
As long as you learn from it, that's all you can really do, Andy.
Do you have another song?
I do. You want me to play it?
Yeah, we should probably wrap this show up.
All right, let's do it. Yeah, I got one more track, Andy, and it's an awesome collaborative track from Adieu, and A.L.I.S.O.N. They've joined creative forces and created this incredible song called Discord.
That's actually an interesting collab.
It is. You wouldn't think those two would normally go together.
A.L.I.S.O.N's usually like the kind of the chill synth, and Adieu kind of has more sort of energy. Adieu is someone I got to invite on this show.
You do?
Because they've got a lot of tracks that I really love.
Yeah. The last couple of years, I think if we featured a number of tracks, yeah, he's really good. He's got his own little style going on as well. I really like it.
All right, man. Well, let's listen to it. This is Adieu and A.L.I.S.O.N with Discord. All right, and that was Discord by Adieu, and A.L.I.S.O.N. And that's a cool song, and this has been the Marko and Andy Power Hour. It's nice to chat with you again after all these months.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool. It's nice when we have a break because you kind of miss it and we have a lot to talk about, I guess.
There's still more. I'll save it for next time, but I sent you a link because we gotta go, but I sent you a link to some MUGEN or MUGEN, I don't know how to pronounce it. There's these fighting games where people take sprites from old games, and so I've been playing this one called Mortal Kombat 2 Remix. It's really good, actually. They did a good job. It's sort of like an enhanced version of Mortal Kombat 2, so they didn't do anything wacky because a lot of these MUGEN games, they're nonsense. People will make these fighting games that have like 1,000 characters.
Yeah.
The art styles don't match. It's like you're playing like Mortal Kombat 1 Scorpion versus like some character from Naruto, and the background is like some cartoon or like, and it just looks stupid. But this one is like tasteful. It's like it just is the Mortal Kombat 2 characters. They've added frames of animation. They've sort of distinguished the characters a bit more. So like Reptile's voice sounds different than like Sub-Zero's or Scorpion's or whatever. And they add sort of glow effects, and they add sort of the Mortal Kombat 3 combo system and stuff.
Yeah, and that's the first thing I noticed. Yeah, it's got the run and the combo system. Yep.
In that respect, it's pretty cool. There's only one decision they made that I feel is weird, but it's like, I don't know if I'm just being an old man or like a purist, but like Scorpion swears in it. It's sort of funny. Like if I was a kid, I would probably have liked that a lot more, but he says like, "Get the fuck over here."
Oh God. Sounds a little cringy.
Okay, I get why people would like this decision, and I might like it, but I just kind of don't. I just kind of wish he wasn't swearing.
Yeah, maybe 20 years ago or 25 years ago, yep.
Yeah, because I think he also says, "Get over here, bitch," too. There's like,
"Get over here, bitch," and "Get the fuck over here."
And it's like, okay, like, but it's pretty good, and I actually got it working on my system, even though it required me going into fucking, I had to write command lines. Like, just this shit, dude, I just have no interest in doing, where it's like, to get MUGEN games to work on the fucking, this arcade machine, it's like, you gotta go into the file settings, and you gotta create a command line code that automatically runs the whatever, and then you have to go into the MUGEN configuration files and change these things. I'm like, what does this have to do with me playing video games? Like, just fucking opening up text documents and changing fucking lines of code. So there is something to be said for a fucking plug and play system, and maybe an arcade machine at $4,000 is an insane price. But if it just gets delivered to your house and you turn it on and it just works, that's a fucking beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And you're not fucking writing machine code.
Yeah, it saves you a lot of time and headaches.
Although, maybe that's what it is, and I'm just denying it. That maybe part of the joy of these projects is setting it up. Because whenever I set up emulators, a lot of time is spent in the setup, and I think it's like, is that the game? Is that the game now for me? Like, when I get a newer computer and I run my Goldeneye emulator, because I run a specific emulator, and I have to set up the controllers, and I like using the PlayStation controllers as well, but then on this emulator, they don't recognize diagonal movement of the L stick, so then I have to run a separate program that tells the computer that the PlayStation controller is actually an Xbox controller, so then I can then tell it that the D-pad is actually the analog stick, so then I'm running all these programs, like I'm doing all this stuff, and then I play Goldeneye with a friend for like 7 minutes, and that's like, and then meanwhile it's like weeks of me setting up, getting the Bluetooth to recognize the controllers, and then all this shit just to fucking, anyway, whatever. But maybe that's it. Maybe that's the game. Maybe I really enjoy the game of emulator setup simulator.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate that shit, man.
Anyways, man.
Well,
We should probably, is there anything you want to say? I feel like I talked a lot. You say something and then we'll go.
What do I have to say? No, just it's good to be back. Looking forward to putting out some more content with you, chatting about stuff, and hope everybody enjoyed the music too.
And I hope everybody is having a lovely day. I'm sorry, I forgot how to end shows. It's been like a month. Like, how do I do this? Listen, it's always fun chatting with you.
Yeah, you too, buddy.
For the listeners there, don't forget, you can also go to the YouTube channel. I am slowly updating them with these podcasts, but they're the video versions. You see pictures of the guests on screen, and it changes based on who's talking. And there's also like, when the music plays, you see like the album art of the artist and stuff like that. And so give those a watch, because it's also another way to check out the show. I put in sort of more work into the editing of those than is worth it because about like 5 people watch those videos. But I do like putting them out. It's fun.
No, they look good. Yeah, I've watched it a couple of times. Yeah, no, it's nice.
So that's something people can do. And of course, if you like the show, consider supporting on Patreon, or there's a PayPal Me link in the show notes. That's also a way of supporting the show. And that's it. And Marco's a cool guy.
I sure am.
Go, Marco still has the
Still have the mojo.
Synthetic Sundays SoundCloud.
SoundCloud? That's correct. I've got some mixtapes up there.
Yep.
Yep, and all the old shows still there.
Yeah. So, if you're ever listening to Beyond Synth and you listen to the back catalog and then you're like, you want to listen to another show like this, you can always go back and listen to the back catalog of Synthetic Sundays with Marco. That's something you can do.
Yeah, Andy's shows are much better production, but I had the better interviews, so that's okay.
I can't co-sign on that. No.
No, I refuse.
All right, man. Well, listen, you have a lovely day. Keep cool, and we'll
try.
We'll talk again.
You too, buddy. You keep cool too.
Yeah. All right, take care, dude.
Beyond Synth Radio is produced by Andy Last. Check the show notes for more information on the musicians featured on the show. Beyond Synth is made possible by listeners like you. Consider supporting Beyond Synth at patreon.com/BeyondSynth. Thanks for listening.